book club meeting. It is indeed an honor to welcome Carol Wilson Mack to our book club and this wonderful afternoon that we've been blessed with. Ms. Mack is the author of a book by someone that we all know and have loved over the years. His music was in all of our homes over the years. And it's Brooke Benton, and the title of her book is Fan Loyalty. So Ms. Wilson is a very exciting writer. She came in so humbly and talked about why and how this book came about. So we're going to welcome her to come and give us all the insight that she has on Brooke's music, and hopefully she brought some with her because that's some good old music.
Yeah.
Okay, Ms. Carol Wilson Mack.
Ray! In the house.
I did bring some music with me. I couldn't come without it. Because I listen to it all the time. How Fan Loyalty came to be, it's an inspirational piece. It's not really about him. It includes him. Because I make reference to the importance and significance of words that we use in our lives every day. I happen to be a very young person in junior high school when I heard the man sing, and I said, I'm going to meet him. And if you know, if you experience or know the disciplinary parents that we had in my day, you wonder what gave me the courage to say, I'm going to meet him. So fan loyalty is about the connection of the young person and her words when she heard the man sing. She did not know him. She didn't know where he was, but she said, I'm going to meet him. And she went on in her life and she did get to meet him. So fan loyalty just tells the story of how that happened. And she included his name because he would be someone that people would remember. And especially wanted to bring his name to our memory because a lot of places he had a lot of connection to a lot of different kinds of music. He was rhythm and blues. He was country. He was gospel. He sang in all the genres. I guess that's why nobody remembers him. Because country western say, we don't have to remember him because gospel will. Gospel will say, oh no, we don't have to remember him because country western will. And nobody remembers him. If you look at the programs that's on the television, Brooke Benton is rarely mentioned. And he had many, many songs. Not only did he record his own songs, he wrote many songs for a lot of other people. And you know, if any of you have heard his music, you know what a singer he was. If you think about words, and we say the importance of words, you can hear what he does with a word when he's singing a song. If you listen to He'll Have to Go and listen what he does with one word, you'll understand the importance of words and how words. Apparently he was a person who expressed a lot of love because every song is talking about love. Whether it's gospel, country, and certainly spiritual. I bought a few spiritual songs and also a few of the rhythm and blues. I think we remember It's Just a Matter of Time. That's the one that propelled him into stardom. It's Just a Matter of Time. And he had been singing a long time prior to that, but that is the one that propelled him into stardom.
When you were a teenager, that when you guys listen to the music your family was playing, it was on the radio or?
It was on the radio.
And
you know what?
Did you hear them? Which one?
We only had one. Well, it wasn't a New York station.
Was the first song that you heard?
It was the first. It was. It's just a matter of time. That was the first
okay.
song. Yeah. And you know what? When I heard it, I wanted to know the name of the singer and the name of the song. And of course, when you want the disc jockey to announce that, he doesn't. So when he didn't announce it, I had to go to school every day, so I would ask my stepmom, and I had everybody in the house trying to listen to this man singing the song. And I said to my sister, "You'll know him because he's quiet." And she said, "Well, if he's quiet, how is he singing?" But finally, I heard the song again, and I said, "That's him." And then they did announce it. And then I was very happy that I had a name to go with the song. And that certainly was. It's just a matter of time.
You said that you had the opportunity to meet his family.
Yes.
Yes.
The mom, the dad, and all of the sisters. I'm still in touch with the sisters. Yeah. Both of the parents died now, and long before he died. The father died long before he died. The mother died after his death. And he died, and he's been dead a long time.
You certainly have.
1988, April 9th, 1988. That's a long time.
That's a lot.
But even shortly after he died, people would, if you look at the oldies show, like on 13, when they go back, you don't see anything about him. So when I was doing this piece, because his name was a name that people knew, the publishers is the one who said, you have to connect with his fans by attributing the book to him, and that's what I did. I want you to understand it's not really about him, because this little book couldn't write everything about him, but I will be doing one about him.
Actually, when we, like I was saying, to promoted, you promoted on a tribute to Brooke Benton, like it was going to be everything about him. And then, of course, we realized fan loyalty is really
It's one of his fans.
And it's the title of
Yes.
the title.
Yeah. I so appreciate you guys reading it. Thank you very much. People who write need people who read, and I do appreciate it. Thank you. Yes.
Meeting his brother. That's an interesting story. Tell us about that.
Mr. Matthews, he loves this story. But the brother, I had just made the connection with the sisters. And that took a while because I was on a job and someone heard about me and she connected us. And I heard that his brother was sick in the hospital. So I wanted to go see him because he was Brooke Benton's brother. I mean, if you love somebody, you just love them. So I have to love the brother, the sisters, and everybody. So I goes to this man who's never heard of me. And all I know is, I'm coming to see you because you're Brooke Benton's brother. And he goes, you're coming to see me because you love Brooke Benton? I said, yes. I will even take care of you. He said, oh, that's not necessary. They have nurses here. But I had to go and talk to him because he was the brother. I was too naive, really, to understand what he might have been feeling because he was in the hospital. He probably thought this might be someone that might be bringing harm to my brother. So of course so the first thing he talked about is Brooke's wife. What about Mary? How do you love him like Mary? I said, no, I love him more. So then I started telling him about the sisters. I said, Lillian's going to help me. Lillian is going to help me. So he realized I had all their names right. So he said, well, you got all the names right. So he said, but I give up on you. That's what he said, because I didn't really frighten him because in the beginning he probably felt that. But when I actually told him that I would need him because his sister was going to help me, he said, I give up on you. But I was determined. Not only, I have a very strong determination in my nature. This happens to be one example. There's a lot of other things that happen in my life that I could have just given up and stopped, and I never did. So this is just one example about the importance of work. Like when I first went to nursing school, I was told, you're not nursing school material. And I said, how would you know that? My dad said I could do anything that I want to do, and I want to be a nurse. How could a stranger tell me, you're not nursing school material? So I became a nurse. And I teach in nursing, I teach healthcare topics. And one thing I learned, I never tell a student what they can't do.
Right.
Because I can't know what a student can do and what a student can't. So this is an example of the significance of words. I'm thankful to God that I had a dad who was always able to say to me, school is the answer. You have to do this, you have to go to school, you have to do that. So I appreciate that now. Sometimes some of the things that he had me doing was very, very hard. But we learned very strong work ethics in the South. Do you know sometimes in Carolina, we had to go to work before we went to school. Early in the morning, we went out to work to scatter soda to the crops prior to going to school. Then we had to go to school the first day, and then we were kept home until after Christmas. And yet we were expected to pass our grade. And she decided that these people didn't have comforters like we can just run out and buy a comforter today. They used to have to make the comforter. So my grandmother would gather a lot of women, and they would all bring their patches together, and they would sew them, and they would put them together, and they would make a quilt for that family who needed it urgently. And then when that one was finished, the next one who needed it the most. I call it patchwork because they actually were patching, making patch quilts for each other. But during the course of them sitting around the bed and sewing those quilts, each of them had challenges in the family. So they were not only doing the patchwork physically, they were patching the lives of each of those families. So look for patchwork in 2015.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, I'm moving closer. In patchwork, the quilting thing, because I remember one time my mother gave away my grandmother's quilt, and it was not pretty after that. But I told my aunt I want a quilt with history. And she gave me a quilt that they gave her at the AME conference, Missionary Board, and they had handprints of people in there that I knew as a child with their names and all that stuff. So every now and then I take it out and wrap up in it.
Yes.
And you're going to be telling people's stories, the narration of the different stories?
Each of the families will have a different story that they are actually trying to work through at that time. And it's the group that comes together and support them and help them. And some of the women did embroider some names and things in it if they wanted to do that. But there was no set pattern. The only thing that my grandmother would insist, the patches that they used had to be patches that they really loved. It couldn't be just any old piece of material. It had to be something that they really loved, and they put it into the making of that quilt for that family.
Will there be an audio version?
Well, I could do an audio version.